Hello everybody, I'm Felicia. I'm really excited to do Pilates with you today. We're going to do some exercises for back pain relief. My marketing assistant, she has back pain and she's always complaining. So this one's for you, Jessie. She's in the background laughing. So why don't we get started? And I'm going to do a couple different levels, right? So first level of the legs, bent with feet on the floor. This is the easiest. The next is your feet are flexed back towards you, heels into the floor, knees are bent. This is really good for any tightness in the backs of your thighs or tightness in the front of your hips. Toes back towards you, legs elongated. This is the hardest. Just make sure that you're not putting any pressure at the front of the hip. I'm going to do the one in between. Palms towards each other, arms in the shoulder sockets. Belly is in, sitting up nice and tall, half roll back. So breathing in and out. Scooping out the belly, rocking off of the sit bones. Now, as you do this, make sure that you're not clenching at the front of the thigh and the hip. You feel a nice stretch in between the vertebra and then press in the belly. One vertebra at a time comes on top of each other to sit nice and tall. Let's do that again. Breathing in and out. Scoping out the belly, rounding that spine. You want to feel like you have a stretch in between each of those vertebrae. And then you're going to press in the belly. One vertebra at a time comes all the way up to a seated position. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in and out. Scoping out the belly, coming halfway back. Pressing in that belly, the lower belly, and coming all the way back up to a seated position. And one more, breathing in and out. Scoping out the belly, coming halfway back, not using the front of the thigh. And you feel a little stretch in between each vertebra. Then you press in that lower belly and then coming all the way up using that lower belly and feeling each vertebra come one on top of the other. Now we're going to just twist the spine a little bit to the side because we want to make sure that we get that twist in the spine as well. It's going to help with your posture, making sure that you're not lifting the opposite hip off of the mat. So sit bone is down. Breathing in and out. Scoping out the belly, coming halfway back. Then pressing in this oblique to come all the way back up, still twisted. And then we come back into center and twisting to the opposite side. Breathing in and out, scooping out the belly, making sure that you don't use those thighs. It's all in the lower belly. And make sure this oblique engages to come all the way up, still twisted with that spine to come into center. And let's go to the other side. Breathing in and out, twisting to one side, making sure that you're not lifting the sit bone off of the floor. Breathing in and out. Scooping out the belly, coming halfway back. Feeling each vertebra, there is a space in between them, right? And then you press in the belly, coming up. You still are on that twisted spine. And then coming into center. One more. Breathing in and out. Coming over to the other side. And then scooping out the belly. Rounding that spine so you feel space in between the vertebra. Not using the front of the thigh and the hip. Pressing in the oblique. Come all the way up. And then coming into center. Now, I'm going to extend my legs to the sides of the mat. You can keep them either bent or straight, okay? It's up to you. Coming out to the side with the arms. And do a nice twist of the spine, breathing in and out. Twisting the spine, feeling the arms reach in opposition of each other. making sure that you don't lift that sit bone up, right? So really looking back at that back arm, breathing in and out, scooping out the belly, coming up and over the leg, marrying those pinkies of your hand and foot, feeling that length through the back of the leg and the hamstring, and looking back at that back arm so you're still twisted spine, pressing in the belly to initiate, coming up one vertebra at a time, and then coming back into center, going to the opposite side, breathing in and out, twisting without lifting up that sit bone, feeling the opposition stretch with those arms, breathing in and out, scooping out the belly, coming up and over the legs, feeling those pinkies marry each other, lengthening through the backs of the legs, and feeling like you're reaching back towards that back arm with that twisted spine. Breathing in and out, pressing in the belly, coming all the way up, feeling that twisted spine, and then coming into center. And then let's do one more on each side. Breathing in and out, twisting to one side without lifting up that sit bone. And then coming up and over, still looking back at that back arm, pressing in the belly, coming all the way up, and then coming into center. And again, breathing in and out, looking back at that back arm, scooping out the belly, coming up and over the legs, still looking back at that back arm, and then pressing in the belly, coming all the way up, feeling that twist, and then coming back into center. Now we're going to do a full roll back all the way back to the mat. You can do whichever level with the legs, either 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to do the second one. Palms towards each other, arms in the shoulder sockets, sitting up nice and tall, breathing in and out, scooping out the belly, rounding that spine. So as you come back, make sure that you're using the lower belly and not the front of the thigh and the hip. You also want to be doing this nice and slowly with control to come all the way back down onto the mat. Now, when you're on the mat, make sure that the arms are by the ears, but not where you pop that lower back. You want to actually still keep a small little curve there without popping the belly up and the ribs up. So in, but small little curve. And breathing in and out. Curling up the head, neck, and chest, belly is in. Now you come up using the lower belly, not the front of the thigh. And then coming up one vertebra at a time as you ground those heels into the floor to a seated position. And one vertebra is on top of the other. Now we're going to manipulate the spine again to come down to the mat. Breathing in and out. Rocking off the sit bones. Scooping out the belly. Rounding that spine. Coming all the way down to the mat. One vertebra at a time. To then come all the way onto the mat. Now, without popping the lower back, but still keeping that small curve, let's do that again. Breathing in and out. Curling up the head, neck, and chest. Belly is in. Grounding those feet into the floor. One vertebra at a time. Slowly comes on top of each other to come up in a seated position. Arms are in the shoulder sockets. And let's come down to the mat one more time. Breathing in and out. Rocking off sit bones. And rocking down to the mat, rounding that spine. One vertebra at a time, slowly comes down to the mat. And then bring one knee into the chest and then the other. Just rock left to right. Putting our feet onto the floor, arms down by our side. Let's do a bridge so we really manipulate that spine even more. Breathing in and out. Pressing the arms, hands, and feet into the floor, scooping out that belly. One vertebra at a time slowly comes off the mat to to the tips of the shoulder blades. Good. Now you're going to feel a nice stretch through the front of the body out past the knees. And then breathing in and out. And as you come down, you feel one vertebra at a time hit the mat. And you feel stretch in between each vertebra as you come down to the mat. Okay? So it's almost like you have a pearl necklace and each pearl one at a time hits the mat, and that's a good visual. Okay? Let's do that again. Breathing in and out. Scoping out the belly, one vertebra at a time. Slowly comes all the way up to the tips of the shoulder blades. Breathing in and out. Now remember, you really want to manipulate that spine. So one vertebra at a time comes onto the mat and you feel stretch in between each vertebra as it lays down onto the mat to then rest the tailbone. Let's do one more just like that. Breathing in and out. Pressing the arms, hands, and feet into the floor, scooping out the belly. One vertebra at a time comes off of the mat, coming all the way up to the tips of the shoulder blades. Breathing in and out. Slowly coming down, one vertebra at a time, to then rest your lower back and pelvis onto the floor. Okay, bring those legs up to tabletop. So just a couple of levels with the leg. It's really good to protect the lower back with the abs. So let's just do a little bit of abs. So first level, hands just down onto the mat, and you can just put one leg down and come up, and then the other, tapping the toe. Make sure that the toe doesn't tap too far towards your bum. You want to make sure that it's extended out, right? And then the other leg. Doing this all from the lower belly and not from the front of the hip and the thigh. Okay? Now you can take those hands, put them behind your head if you want to do this level. Otherwise, you can stay where you were. And as you're doing that, you can curl up the head, neck, and chest to the tips of the shoulder blades, elbows out to the side. Good. Just tap left to right, engaging that lower belly, right? Good. One more on each side. And then we're going to tap both toes down, come down with the upper body, and then coming all the way up. Right? So make sure that you're not bringing the elbows forward. You want to keep them out to the side, and the chest is wide. As you bring those toes back, don't pop that lower back. Let's just do two more. And one. Good. And let's just come down. Actually, bring your arms out to the side. I'm going to bring the legs back up to tabletop. I'm going to twist the spine to one side and bring the knees over to the floor. Looking back at the back arm. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. Pressing in this oblique and then coming up, all the way back up to tabletop. We're going over to the side, looking back at that back arm. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. Really feeling the twist in the spine. Looking back at that back arm. Using this oblique, pressing it in to come all the way back up. Putting our hands at the back of the thigh. We're going to roll up without hitting our feet on the floor. Okay, so breathing in and out, elbows out to the side. Coming all the way up without putting our feet onto the floor. We're going to do my favorite, rolling it like a ball. I do it in almost all of my classes and videos because it's fun. Chest is wide. We're going to roll back without hitting our head and come up without hitting our feet. Breathing in and out. Whee! Coming up, really feeling that lower belly to rest on the tailbone. Breathing in and out. Whee! Let's do 2 more. But if you want to, you can put your hands at the front of the shin, and it's going to be a little harder. Breathing in and out. Whee! And if you want to go really hard and crazy, you can extend the legs out. It's up to you. Breathing in and out. Whee! Good. And crisscross those legs. And we're going to come into all fours. So let's just do a couple of cat-cows, scooping out the belly, coming all the way up, rounding that spine. And then releasing the belly and coming all the way back down. And pressing in the belly, feeling the vertebra separate as you come up in cat. And then as you come down into cow, you feel the vertebra come together. Let's do that again. Scooping out the belly, coming all the way up. And coming all the way back down. Then rounding in a circular motion. Feeling that spine being manipulated. And then going in the opposite direction. And you can also go in a circular motion. And then going in the opposite direction. Good. Now we're going to peel back one of our arms. The hand onto the mat will press into the mat and peel back the opposite arm, twisting the spine, coming all the way up towards the ceiling. Breathing in and out. And then on the breath out, you take that hand coming back, untwisting the spine, and bringing that arm underneath the other one. And you're going to feel a nice stretch through the shoulder. And if you want to get an additional stretch in the lower back, and also the buttocks, we're going to come back up, twisting that spine, and the fingers come up towards the ceiling. Feeling the opposition stretch within the arms. Breathing in and out. Pressing in the belly, and then coming all the way back down to the mat. Let's do the opposite hand. So pressing down into the mat with the hand. The opposite hand, though, comes up, twisting the spine, reaching all the way up towards the ceiling. Breathing in and out. And then you come down, twisting the spine in the opposite direction and bringing your hand underneath you, feeling a nice stretch all the way through the shoulder. Now, if you want to, you can also bring your buttocks and your hips down towards your heels, and that way you get an extra stretch through the lower back and the buttocks. Breathing in and out. Then pressing in the belly, taking that hand, twisting the spine back in the opposite direction, and bringing those fingers up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, you can come back down to the mat. Okay, now it's really good to add a little bit of strength into the shoulders and your belly and actually this goes through the whole body. So let's just tuck those toes under, press the hands into the mat, lifting the knees off of the ground, breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. And then coming all the way down, undo the toes, come down into child's pose. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. Pressing in the belly, coming up to all fours, tucking those toes again. This time, I want you to come up into cat. So you're really feeling a stretch in between each of the vertebrae. Pressing those hands down into the floor and lifting the knees up. So you press the belly in and coming up. Now, really feeling like those hands are pressing into the mat so you're not dropping into the shoulders. Feel that belly is in, and you really feel that rounded spine. Okay, but you don't want to drop the head down too much, and you don't want to clench it back. So you still want to keep that neck elongated. Breathing in and out. And then bringing the knees down and then slowly coming all the way back into child's pose. Breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. Pressing in the belly, one vertebra at a time, slowly comes up, and you're sitting on your heels. All right, I think that's good for today, but really you're manipulating that spine forward and backwards, because usually we're over the computer or our phone, and that's usually where we get our back pain. But if you do these exercises, you're going to be lengthening and strengthening at the same time, which is great. And I hope that your back feels better after this. And I think that's it. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you for joining me. I have videos coming out at least 2 a week at the moment. So I'd love for you to join me for more. Like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day.